Hi, my name is Fike. I'm one of the founders of Hamster Garage. We're a partner marketing agency. We manage the affiliate channel for brands like Uber, Brex, Canva, Masterclass, a bunch of high-growth brands. And we do some of our best work with really prominent brands that can take the full advantage of the type of work we do. So this panel is really focused on best-in-class practices for best-in-class brands. And we have some really awesome brands for you guys. So I'll pass it to Bennett to start introductions.
Cool, thanks, Fike. I'm Bennett. I've been at Uber for 8.5 years. I lead our affiliate and our new channels teams for consumer. And then on the B2B side, I lead all of our paid channels there.
Does this work? Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Elisa. I'm our Director of Global Paid Media at Disney Streaming. I oversee a few acquisition channels, primarily in the non-biddable marketing space, including the affiliate channel, our creator or influencer program, and a few newer channels to Disney, like direct mail and some of our more analog marketing. I've been with the company for about 5.5 years, and we oversee all acquisition efforts for our streaming business, so our D2C streaming business for Disney Plus primarily, as well as Star Plus, the Disney Bundle, and a few other streaming products, including Hulu.
This is Guy Young from Walmart. I am under the content affiliate team and majorly focusing on the content media partnerships, but underneath of the affiliate structure. And I used to be at the agency 6 years, and the other brand more subscription focused, and now I'm in a retail. And very happy to be part of the group, and hopefully my thoughts and a little bit of knowledge about the industry helps some. Thank you.
Cool. Well, thank you guys all for those intros. I think I want to kind of set the stage a little bit. There's always so much happening in the affiliate space. Right now with AI and how it's impacting publishers, there's always conversations on incrementality, doing more with your partners. And so, I was talking to one of our team members earlier, and she mentioned how the things that we're talking about today in this panel are actually a really good preview of the entire conference, because we're touching on all the things that matter to the best brands. And so I'm going to kick off with the first question, which is, what does it mean to have a best-in-class program for you guys individually as brands? And then I want to also add that that's it. Let's go with that. Sorry.
Cool, I'll start. So I don't think we have best-in-class program yet, but we're working on it. I think the two things that are really important for us are, one, having a highly diversified affiliate channel. So not being overly concentrated in something like a cashback or coupons, and really expanding the categories of affiliates into things like influencer, pre-install, things like that. And then the other element of a great program, I think, would also just be understanding the actual impact that you're driving for your brand. I think for Uber, because we have so much organic reach and interest, incrementality is top of mind for us. And that is just proving that we're driving value with our ads rather than just taking credit for events that would have happened regardless.
Totally agree with the testing first mindset. I think at Disney Streaming in general, our performance marketing team is definitely we prioritize testing heavily. I think actually in the affiliate space, it's a little bit more difficult to conduct scientific tests. So if you guys have any ideas, I'm really open to discussing them. But I think we try to work with diverse types of affiliates as much as possible. So we really, at Disney, view the channel very broadly. We kind of call it a channel of channels. There are so many different types of affiliate partners, and we really don't want to view the channel in a narrow way. And so for us, really anywhere a link can live on the internet, and any type of partner that is willing to work with us through Bounty Economics is a potential affiliate partner. And so I think for me, advertisers and brands that think about the channel pretty holistically are probably best positioned to succeed and to get as much out of the channel as they can. I would also say just encouraging your organization to view it as a full funnel marketing channel. We are really trying to work with partners across the whole marketing funnel and just trying to work through different types of models in order to reward partners for the value that they're bringing in that conversion path.
To me, the best program is money-making program. We're all under the performance marketing. I think Walmart as a company has a huge team even underneath of the affiliate channel. And I think we're like a train with the many engine, actually. If you dice out like team, the counts, and then the expertise in the team. Like, but I'm sitting in the content team, and new partnership is very important, but also maintaining the partnership, building the trust, treat them as my ally, and gaining a lot of positive voice out there is my #1 goal. And always encourage the partners to suggest any innovative ideas, testing, and ask many questions about what's the capability, what's the challenge, and do the same thing on my end and build the strategy together with the clear roadmap and then goal as the best program. And yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I want to dig into a little bit is how do you do more with your top partners? I think it's always hard to get the full value from your best partners, but I think that's where you can find a lot of value. You know, every year, publishers, your partners, they have more capabilities, they have bigger audiences, and I think leaning into those relationships and figuring out how you can do more is incredibly important, and it's very hard, but I'm curious, you know, how do you guys think about that?
I think for my team, like we have the unique challenge of we work on a very global product. So Disney Plus is live in more than 40 languages across 150 markets, and so our program is global in nature, and we are, you know, driving traffic across all of these markets. So basically what that means is we have thousands of partners, and it's very difficult to manage all of these relationships. As we all know, this channel is relationship driven, and you really do have to put time and effort into maintaining all of those relationships. I think realistically for us, we need to make sure that we're staying on top of understanding who the main drivers are for our program and nurturing those relationships as much as we can. So as you said, staying on top of their new capabilities, understanding any new markets that they're entering for us. Markets that have scale across multiple countries is really important as we try to build like a scalable program as much as possible. But I think something you were saying in our prep call that I really resonated with is even some partners that are smaller for you but show a lot of potential should not be overlooked. So I think it's also about like being willing to grow together with your partners and identifying the ones that have a lot of potential and where your audience just really overlaps well.
One thing I always ask my partners, like, I mean, as you mentioned, like, always when you have a time, if they're in the program already, like, understand what's their data and just give right questions to understand what's their capability, what's their also the plan for upcoming quarters next year. And there's always a high potential partners I can understand, like identified, and focus on them and nurturing them, but also so many partners, so many work, so many call hours, emails you can imagine, but prioritize who's the, you know, the highest potential, not the current numbers focused. That's my go-to like tactics when I deal with the partners. But always open mind listening, what they can do, what they want to do, and also share my challenge. At the same time, like deep dive into data to pull the strategy together.
Yeah, for us, I'll keep it short. We care about first trips and first orders. That's what we're gold on right now. We're working to expand the KPIs that we care about. But when I think about doing more with partners, it's how do I, first of all, prove the value and the impact, and then how do I increase the first trips and first orders that I'm getting? I realize that sounds very myopic to think about at first, but we're working on stacking on more things like that, re-engagement, subsequent trips, subsequent orders, things like that.
I think...
Oh, sorry. Something I forgot to mention also is like because of the relationship driven nature of the channel, I really see it as a partnership, and so that's a two-way street. So I think just having a really good understanding of your partner's business goals as well is really important. I think something that we do also, we're very open to feedback. So every year we do this like big survey where we actually reach out to our affiliates and ask them like, how are we doing? What could we be doing better? What are things that you like, things that you don't like? Do you feel like you understand our products? And getting all that feedback is really helpful, and I think it really gives our partners like a voice and a say in how we improve things together moving forward.
Yeah, you know, I think we obviously had a session before kind of practicing and talking about some of these topics. When I think about all the things we discussed, a lot of it is like, kind of what is the surface area of what your program covers? How are you thinking about, you know, like more partners? How are you thinking about more doing more with your partners instead of adding partners? How are you thinking about incrementality? And I think, you know, every brand is different in terms of their maturity in these areas, and even you guys, between you guys, there's a lot of differences in how you guys think about your, the global nature of your program versus incrementality versus margins for a brand like Walmart, for instance. So I'm curious, maybe Bennett, if you want to start, how do you guys think about incrementality? And obviously it's ever evolving. So I'm curious, like, where do you think you are in your journey with incrementality right now? Yeah.
Yeah, for us, we are accountable to spending money intelligently, our budgets intelligently, and making sure that we're actually having an incremental impact. In a channel like affiliate, it's really challenging to do incrementality testing. And I'm looking at some of my teammates who are here, like we lean in with every partner and we talk to them about what are your capabilities, what can you do, what can't you do, and we try to be creative about the way that we quantify and test the incrementality levels of each publisher. Sometimes that means making an assumption. Sometimes it means actually running a test with a verifiable outcome. But just being flexible and putting in the effort to at least try, I think goes a long way when we're telling the story internally about affiliates and trying to build the confidence in the channel, because it has in the past been seen as kind of a hodgepodge.
I feel very similarly to you, Bennett, in that measuring incrementality in the affiliate channel is definitely a challenge and one that I don't think we've fully solved for yet. I think for us, we know that a lot of our partners in the card-linked offer space have some more sophisticated testing capabilities, and so we do a lot of incrementality testing with them in an always-on fashion. We also manage a few biddable partners that do have more testing capabilities. I'd love to figure out how to solve for the ability to do this with more editorial or traditional affiliate partners. So if anyone has any ideas, please come find me after. I'd love to talk about it. We, as an organization at Disney, are pivoting and we're maturing as a business. And so our goal by the end of this fiscal year, so end of September, is to be profitable across our streaming business. And so what that means for our marketing org, obviously, is that we need to be a lot more strategic about how we're spending our marketing dollars. And so incrementality is really a #1 priority for us right now.
When it comes to incrementality, I think people only think about the sales and money that each partners are driving. And that is very important, incrementality, and any campaign goals and performance goal, like depending on the partner's life stage, where they are, it is very important to measure and offer what's the goal. But at the same time, the diversification of their own, these days, I think we're crossing a lot of lines together, holding hands each other. The one day the coupontainers are not only coupon, they sometimes do the loyalty, and now it's expansion to the content as well, and meaning that some partners with multi-channel tactics, there should be different measurement about the incrementality. What if this partner is not generating great sales, but their share of voice or their engagement with their audience is so loyal to whatever they produce as a content, it might not go directly to the sales. Of course, the performance channel, we need a sale, but there gotta be a different measurement for each effort they make. And that's how I think the brands should evolve to treat the partners the right way and measure things and set the goals the right way. That's what I think about incrementality.
Cool. So one of the things that I had brought up to you guys, we discussed as a group that AI, which is such a big buzzword, we don't think it's affecting brands' affiliate program as much as it's affecting publishers, for instance, right? But I'm curious, do you guys have any thoughts around, is AI something that you're thinking about at all? I'll share the one tidbit that I was talking to you guys about, which is that I recently read that, marketing is inefficient sales. And that's been sitting with me for a long time. And it's the idea that if I'm talking to all three of you at once, I'm marketing to you, versus if I'm talking to you individually, it's kind of like sales. And I think that level of that speaks to hyper-personalization that's coming up in the next 5-10 years. I'm wondering, do you guys think about AI, and maybe even if it's not affecting you, how it's affecting publishers? And just curious what your thoughts are on AI in the affiliate space.
Can I say no? But I should go first. I mean, as a #1 retail brand in the US, we do a lot of things internally happening. But when it comes to the AI, to be honest, I think partners are so proactive. They know what is like hyped. I mean, everybody knows that like AI is the number one thing. And I go to conference, like every session has a question about AI. To me, it's still very, very early stage. But I'm so thankful that the partners always bring the ideas, the tools they developed, and targeting, audience slicing down. How about this and how about that? To me, it is the stage, to such an early stage, there is no proven successful way that I can very much like deep dive, but enjoying all the proposal and think about the case, how it's gonna affect our program. That's where I am. Yeah.
I think it's similar for us at Disney. Obviously, it's something that our teams are looking into. They're also in the process of like writing policies over the usage of AI within the company, and how we will and will not be able to use it for our day-to-day jobs. So I think that's still very much in early stages, and we're hoping to hear and learn more on that soon. Truthfully, we haven't really incorporated it in my team's day-to-day just yet. I think to your point, maybe publishers are dealing a lot more with this right now and are more at the forefront of it than we are on the brand side. I think for us, like one usage, or across my team at least, that we're looking to use it is for our creator marketing or influencer marketing program. We're trying to understand using AI how, what makes a successful creator for us by like tagging and identifying all the different attributes across the hundreds of different creators that we work with, and trying to be a bit more strategic about how we source and pick the creators that we're going to work with in a more like objective way. So that's one example. But yeah, I think it's just really early days. We're doing some research and trying to stay up to date on trends and new players in the space, specifically for affiliate, but we haven't really worked with them yet.
I'm really interested in seeing what are the publisher types that come out of AI. Like, for example, we had like a lot of excitement about chatbots, I think a year or two ago. That didn't really pan out for us. So I'm hopeful that maybe there's some AI dimension that helps unlock some really new, interesting, addressable types of publishers that we can access through affiliate. I think also one challenge for us has just been standing up a performance-oriented influencer program. And I'm hopeful that by using some form of AI or working with a platform that leverages AI in an intelligent way for influencers, that we can kind of figure that out. But TBD, we're not really using it in our operations. I think the one place I've seen it across paid channels has been like in creative, but for us that carries enough brand risk that we still prefer to do that manually.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think that I think we're all aligned that it's affecting publishers first and foremost, especially when you look at kind of how Google is reacting to the rise of AI content. There's so much changes in the SERPs, search engine results. Aside from that, though, I mean, it's undeniably going to impact platforms, like Impact, for instance, and different technology providers, but also agencies. There's a lot of room to help streamline operations and things like that with AI. But for the brands here, I think that it's basically early, right? Those things have not come into your day-to-day operations just yet, but ultimately those downstream effects will be there. I want to go to the next topic here, which is kind of, when I think about growth for mature programs, what comes to mind for me is cross-channel opportunities. We've been hearing about how affiliate is converging with PR, with influencers. There's people talk about brand partnerships a lot. And I think that every company is different in the sense that like these could be siloed teams. They could fall under the affiliate apparatus. So I'm curious, what type of work are you guys doing when it comes to cross-channel? Or if you're not, do you think that'll change? Do you think that's something that's like going to unlock growth for you? Or are these just very siloed because they have different functions of the company? And just how do you think about them?
I think we're still a little bit siloed, but we're hoping to break down those barriers and walls more. So I have counterparts that oversee our biddable channels, so across the paid social, display, programmatic, and search teams. We're always looking for more ways that we can be working together and aligning our strategies so that we're not competing with each other, we're enhancing each other's efforts, and trying to find new like hybrid ways that our channels can overlap. So always interested in brainstorming how we can do that more. I think, Disney is obviously a huge company, as are Uber and Walmart. We're working really closely with a lot of other teams, even just outside of the growth marketing team. So we work really closely with the PR team. Obviously, we all know about the overlaps between PR and affiliates. So we essentially make them our like best friends. We want to make sure that we're collaborating really closely. Our team is never the one that is breaking news to our affiliates. It's always the PR team takes the lead, and then we're kind of enhancing what they're doing. So making sure that we're working really closely with them, as well as all of our external-facing business development teams. Disney obviously has a whole external sales force and so many teams that are devoted to onboarding new partners, whether it's like wholesale partners like Verizon or other big major brands. We essentially make sure that we're putting ourselves out there, that all these teams know about the affiliate program and can essentially use us as a testing ground to maybe pilot or test into some of these deeper integrations with other major brands through Impact and through our bounty-based program. So actually just last week or the week before, we launched a partnership with Walmart in Canada, which we're really excited about. And we're running that through Impact and looking to see how that'll do before potentially a deeper partnership. So there's so many different opportunities for collaboration across different teams. I think it's just a matter of making time for it.
I think when I think about cross-channel, one of the things that really excites me about affiliate is that the definitions are necessarily unclear. And I feel like affiliate is very much like a cross-channel channel, kind of like what you said, a channel of channels. And that itself, like that fact, has a lot of utility for me and for the team at Uber, where we have like a search team and a social team and a display team and several other teams. But there's no place where there's like a clear testing ground, and affiliate can honestly like operate as a testing ground for us before we mature and push a channel maybe to be its own new thing. And so I'm really excited about the opportunities within affiliate to do kind of just more testing of lots of different things.
To me, I used to work at the one category handling brand, food and subscription. And one of the amazing thing I joined the company Walmart and realizes the collaboration level between channels was very intense, and I was so amazed. It's like if you think about like the crowd of ants like on the ground, like they do all of their jobs and they make it happen, and all the bees they have, like, it's like one organism kind of level of the collaboration. And I'm learning a lot, and when we have some sort of like the plan to achieve the campaign plan, or we do, as you imagine, like the retail has like its own like schedule going on for the whole year. Actually, all of the team join the collaboration and idea share, including the affiliate channel as well, and share the expertise for the one goal and how we can achieve is very amazing, and I'm thankful to part of it. And so I think it's depending on like each company how they function. But yeah, I can share. I guess there's a time limit, so I can't not share more. But happy to chat after this.
Cool.
Anyone who has any question.
So we have 5 minutes left, and the last question that I wanted to ask you guys, which I think is kind of a lot of what we just touched on, is I forgot to mention this earlier, but I used to be at Airbnb before starting Hamster Garage, and our team on the supply side, very similar to what you guys are touching on. We kind of became this like marketing incubation team where our team would try different things, and if there was an opportunity where something like did really well, it could be a full-time role, for instance, and so we're always trying new things, and I think part of that is selling the vision of what the channel is to your colleagues. The things we've touched upon, like for instance, incrementality, you're talking with data science teams. When it comes to tracking, there's like different attribution models and things like that. When it comes to cross-channel opportunities, hey, how are you interacting with your paid search team? There's so much liaisoning with the rest of the company and selling the vision. And you guys are a mature program, so you have these programs that are paying millions in commissions, driving millions in revenue, but you still have to keep selling a vision for what's next. So I'm curious, how do you guys think about that? Like, do you have full buy-in? Do people ask you like, oh, what's next for you guys in the next 2 years? How do you think about those things?
I feel like there's a lot of nexts for our affiliate team. We're just kind of starting to scratch the surface. And I think when we're storytelling within Uber and within our org, we're really telling that story about affiliates being a testing ground. At the same time, we also have to align that with a story around it being measurable, which is often kind of tough, but that's why we push so hard on it. And that's how we build confidence internally in the channel. And so I'm really appreciative of all the publishers. I'm sure many of you here who have been going back and forth with us and our data science team to design tests and make that happen. But I'd say like we don't, when I'm thinking about the things that are next, I'm often trying to figure out what other great brands are doing. And just a shameless plug, I'm trying to get a group of brands, like brand affiliate advertisers together. And so if you look on my LinkedIn, I've put like an intake form so we can create kind of a brand community and just like share ideas. But yeah, I really look to other brands as well and my peers to figure out what's next.
I filled out the form already, so I think it's such a great idea. I'm super excited for that. Thank you for starting it. I think for us, fortunately, selling in the vision was actually, it was an interesting challenge, but we were lucky in that our leadership for the growth marketing and streaming business, I guess 5 years ago now when that all started, was pretty familiar with the channel. Our SVP of growth marketing came from Amex and had interacted with affiliate before. So she really understood the vision and she was like, great, do it, sounds amazing. Let me know if you need help. But I think for us, since then, it's been, I guess, 5.5 years now since I joined and we built the channel from the ground up. We've been definitely reorged a couple of times and now we report into our studio marketing team. And our studio executives are typically based out in Burbank and they're less like performance marketing minded, I would say. They're more like content marketers. First and foremost, and so they're definitely less familiar with this space, and so I think for us, it's really about like having a very clear vision for your team and the value that your team brings. We just updated our like Team 101 slides, and they look amazing, and I'm really excited to roadshow those across the company and just kind of putting yourself out there. I think we talked about this a lot now, but we do view this program as an incubator for various ideas and types of partnership models. So I think there's a lot more to come. We definitely are a mature program, so growth is not as easy to achieve at this stage than it was, 2-3 years ago. But we have really, really awesome people and a really great agency supporting us, and so I'm really optimistic about the future.
To me, I joined the company, I built the pitch deck with my coworker. And you might think like Walmart is like pretty known brand and maybe work with everybody, but actually I pitched like 3 partners in the past, like 2 months and 1 month period. I think everybody may be like managing the brand portfolio. You might think that the list is very old and we also see all other conferences. Like there's something like new always have to come in, how you can gain the net new audience. And some out there never thought about themselves as a like affiliate partner. They have their own audience and trying to do some like business, the brand to brand collaboration on my end. It's just like you have to always think about something new to gain your new audience, new partners, and shifting the portfolio you have. And I think that's my vision in gaining some good positive voice out there about my brand. And that's an ongoing effort I'm making. For existing partners, like you have to learn their stage, life stage, their scale, what they can do, and really suggest a roadmap, what I can support and what they can support me as a team, like just build a good team with the good partners and agencies. That's the next step.
Cool. So I think we're basically at time. What I'll say to kind of conclude is, I think that it seems from our conversation that to be a best-in-class brand is something you aspire for, and you have to kind of keep you have to be nimble and keep aspiring for it and keep adjusting every year with what's new. And as new techniques come out for incrementality, as new publishers come out, as things get changed with AI, for instance, it seems more aspirational. That's something that you can be like, oh, we are a best-in-class program. And I think that's why we're all here, is to kind of learn those things and get better, and why Hamster Gods exists. So with that, I'll end it. And thank you guys all for coming.